Hey friends, welcome back to another video. I am very excited to film today because for one, it's a beautiful sunny day in the Pacific Northwest today, and I get to spend a couple hours with my plants, which is very rare on a weekday. It's a holiday here today, so Vince is out with Archie and I just get the whole place to myself. And yeah, today we are just going to be looking at a few of my non-aroids that I am just loving right now. I was gonna do like a whole tour of like all my non-aroids, but I feel like that would take up a lot of time, so I'm just going to show you the ones that are basically like my favorites right now. Before we start, I want to take time to talk about my new merch. This is one of them. I illustrated all of these by hand. I was drawing for maybe 2 weeks straight, so I'm gonna scoochie over and just kind of throw in a few of the styles. So this one is the, what did I call this? The aroid collage, and it's got like the Maioi, it has the Spiritus Sancti, it has a Carla inflow. This one is my Bridgesii red crystallinum. Had to throw in, what is this? Columnea. This one is actually, I used Katie's variegated Sanderiana, and then I had to throw in a, sorry, I'm getting confused with the monitor. Threw in a begonia in there. So I don't know, it's just like a few of my like favorites that I really love. I did do an Anthurium one as well, but I felt like I liked this one was more me. So yeah, that's one of them. I also released a new Tales of the Thrips shirt, which I honestly, I'm obsessed with. It comes in, this is the tank top. I released tank tops because I've been wanting some as well, and it was just really, really fun to, why is this squeaking so much? I'm gonna put a towel under my chair because it's like squeaking like crazy. I am in the market for new chairs, so it was really fun to kind of just spend time with my tablet for 2 weeks and dust off my illustration skills. This one's part of the skeleton collection. There's quite a few. So this is the Anthurium clarinervium, and then this is probably my favorite one, is the Diabloense. This is the soft style shirt. I wear a large in the soft style. It comes in like sweatshirts and I released long sleeves. There's the oversized shirt. So there's a bunch of different SKUs. And yeah, those are the ones that I got. And then this one was kind of a later release. I released this style like a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks after the launch of the whole collection. And it's one of my favorites, so I ordered this one as well. And I think by the time this video goes up, there should be a Hot Boys Love Plants. I think I've done the boys version. So yeah, if you are looking for like a Christmas present for yourself or a planty friend, yeah, the shipping times aren't too bad. I feel like the average that I've seen is about 2 weeks from ordering to being delivered, so really not bad at all. And yeah, thank you to everyone who has ordered already. There were quite a few of you, and I'm just so appreciative, so thank you so much. And that concludes my speech about the merch. So let's just get started because we have quite a few to get through today. A majority of them are gonna be on the shelf behind me. So this is not all of them, but these are the carnivorous plants that I feel have just been doing so well. This is kind of an update as well because I did pot, I think I potted 3 of these on camera. I don't remember which video it would have been in, but I know that I did it on camera. So the first one is going to be, and okay, sorry, another disclaimer. I don't know a lot of the names to probably most of the plants I'm going to be showing you. I will try and throw in the name if I can find it, but just be cautious, I guess, that I'm not 100% sure about the about the IDs. This is just like my best researched guess, but don't take it as Bible. I'm just gonna maybe throw it in. Maybe it'll help lead you to the actual correct ID, but I will do what I can. So this one I I've just been loving so much. Oh my gosh, see the voice change. It's just so cute. I like cannot believe how much this has grown. So I do think I potted this one on camera and it wasn't looking very promising at that point. It's actually the first time that I had tried to grow on a lava rock. So some of you might remember that I picked up a nice chunky lava rock from my friend Jonathan over at Floriculture Tropical Nursery in Sacramento. This was my vision for that rock. Specifically in this vessel, I've thrifted this and I used to use it as a fruit bowl, but it's just way too small for fruits. I can fit like 2 oranges and then she's maxed out, but it works perfectly for a little ping garden. I think that I started with just one, I can't remember, maybe it was 2 larger pings and then 1 really small one, or maybe it was 1 big one and 1 small one, but either way it has multiplied and it's so big now and like there's so many flowers. I just have so many things that I love about pings in general. I used to have pings before, but I don't exactly know what I was doing wrong before, but I just seem to have a lot of luck now compared to when I first tried starting to grow pings. Can I talk? Honestly, what are these words that I'm just jumbling together? Let's start over, okay? It's been a long weekend. I've worked a lot this weekend and I'm just tired. Oh, speaking of work, sorry, ADHD brain. Some people have been wanting to know like what's going on with work. You can follow everything that I'm doing over at Charmaine Adrina on Instagram, and I will throw in my business like website, I guess, for videography. Yeah, it's been keeping me busy, and so this weekend was just like jam-packed, and I wasn't gonna film today, but here I am. So anyway, tangent over. I used to grow pings. I tried to grow pings, let's just say that, and I wasn't successful. They always kind of just turned into mush, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing different this time around. Maybe it's just the aura or the energy that I'm giving it, but way more success this time around. This one was grown inside of a dome or a cloche for the first few months that I had it because I wanted to make sure that like the roots were, I wanted to make sure that they grew onto the lava rock before I exposed it to air. Just because I wanted it to get really rooted underneath the substrate first. And then if the top ones dried out once I removed the cloche, it would be okay because it had those ones underneath to kind of keep it alive. But surprisingly, very, very minimal like root dryage since removing the cloche. It's just living out here in like 30-35% humidity, and it's just multiplied. Like I can see like 3 or 4 little babies starting again, and I honestly think by next year this whole thing is probably going to be covered in pings. So this moss here, I don't know what kind of moss this is. I grew it, well, I think it might just be sphagnum moss, because I grew this in a prop box. It was growing on the soil and it was topped with sphagnum moss. So maybe it's that. Is it sphagnum moss or sphagnum moss? So it could be that, I don't know, but I let it kind of turn into, here, sorry. We're going on a lot of tangents today. So some people have asked me how I grew the moss on top of the substrate. So here is the only way that I know how to do it successfully. You need soil. Soil is always like the best way that I can get like a sheet of it. I haven't had luck just putting straight up like sphagnum moss into a prop bin and letting it grow. I always do like a thin layer of soil. Typically it just grows in the pots of whatever's in my prop bins, but recently in trying to actually grow moss, I do a very small layer of soil, very dense, not amended at all, and then I put the moss over it, and then it kind of just creeps, and the roots or whatever, it creates like a sheet, and then you just like pull it off when you're ready to transplant it, and then you just lay it over whatever you're trying to cover. So when I started with this little ping garden, I just had a little patch. It was like a tiny little patch, so I separated it out and I started just kind of like patching it around here. It was in the cloche while I was trying to get the moss going, and it releases spores, and so it's just spread to the rest of the lava rock. And yeah, it's just been like growing surprisingly well. It's nice and green, even though it's not in a greenhouse. I did have to cut quite a bit of dead moss in the beginning when I uncovered it because a lot of it had dried out. But I just kept misting it every few days, and a lot of it has grown back and it's nice and green, and I'm just loving this. Honestly, this is the kind of gardening that I want to be doing right now. I haven't really been loving doing like the whole repots of aroids, and it's just been sort of a chore for me. But last night I watched The Biggest Loser documentary. I watched all 3 episodes, and all I did was take my little tweezers and pulled out the dead pieces of moss. I gave it a nice little trim. I tried to clean up the edges as much as possible, but it's kind of hard. You can see like how sort of gunky it gets. But, you know, it's just part of the territory, I guess. But I'm just like loving this. And look how many flowers it has. The flowers aren't like remarkable, but they're really cute. Like they're nice and dainty. Can you not focus on my face and focus? Hello? But one thing that I love about these flowers, and I almost find it more sort of helpful or more, what's the word I'm looking for? More... I don't know what word I'm kind of worried that I'm having a stroke right now. One thing that I love about these flowers are that the whole stem is sticky, and so it catches quite a bit of fungus gnats. I don't know if you can see some at the base down there, but there were so many flowers on this thing. I just cut off, I think, 3 or 4 of them, and it just fungus gnats all over the place, and it's just so fun to see. You know, they're just flying around, they don't realize the stem is sticky, and then they get stuck, and it's hilarious, and I love it. So this one is like my pride and joy right now, just because I've loved seeing the progress of, you know, watching it actually attach to lava rock, producing pups, seeing the moss kind of grow on the lava rock, and it's just in water. I don't fertilize or anything. I'm just using my filtered water, and it's just been really fun. And I'm not much of like a flower person, but I've been loving these flowers. So speaking of flowers, here is a second ping. Are these pingdums? Ping arrangements? This one I got from my friend Jess. She gave it to me in a little bowl. I can't take credit for how bushy it is, but I will say that quite a few have grown in my care since acquiring it. And look at this flower. It's so cute. It's purple. I love this one. Honestly, the transplant, it was just in moss, and I just moved it to straight lava rock. So the ping garden that I showed you earlier was in red lava rock. This one is in black lava rock. If I had to choose between black or red, I'm gonna say red. I like the way that the black looks more, just with my whole aesthetic going on in this apartment. But I find that the red maybe retains more moisture, and you don't see like a lot of that mineral buildup. You won't be able to see it under here, I don't think, but you're gonna see a lot of like deposits on the top. And yeah, it's just not fun to look at. But for something like this where you can barely see the substrate, totally fine. But I've just been gravitating towards the red lava rock and actually akadama, which I'll show you next. And yeah, so this is number 2. I actually just thrifted this vessel, and I was with my mom, and I knew exactly what I wanted to put in here because this was just in like a glass vase, and I'm kind of starting to move away from just using glass and doing actual pottery and like nice little pieces. I feel like it's a good complement to the glass as well. So yeah, this was a perfect size, and it's just filling in really, really nicely. And it's so cute. I kind of move this thing around. If I notice that there's like fungus gnats, a lot of fungus gnats in my plant room, I'll move some of these into there because they've been so effective in catching the gnats, especially one like this where there's a lot of flowers. I just have been loving the fact that it's like, you know, I get the satisfaction of growing a new kind of plant, but then they're also like very useful and they're actually doing something in the apartment. I really didn't think that I was going to cling to carnivorous plants as much as I have, but I've just been going down a rabbit hole. I already know the other one that I want to get next, but I just don't know if it's one of those carnivorous plants that are like red, like super red, but I think that you have to be like really blasting it with light, and I just don't think that this is going to be enough. So anyway, this is the other one. These ones are like huge, big, like paddle-sized pings. This is one of the first ones that I got. Got this one from someone local. His name is Sean, and I think I had two pings in here, and now there's 4. But they were not this big. They were really tiny. They were like probably this small, if not maybe even smaller. And I just actually really love how like large they've grown. This one is grown in akadama. I got my akadama from Crystal Star Nursery. This is the large grade one. She has 2 grades. I would say that the larger grade is great for pings. Actually, no, you know what? The smaller grade would work great as well, but visually I like the larger one more. But I think akadama is probably my preferred for pings, just because visually they're so pretty. Like, it's got like the perfect sort of like earthy color, and this is when it's wet. That's another reason I like it, is because it goes like significantly light, like in color, when it's dry, and so I can immediately start to tell just based on the shade when it's starting to get low on water. The reason that I chose akadama as a substrate for my pings is because of the moisture retention. These actually do retain so much more moisture than the lava rock, and it's very forgiving on the plants when it goes dry, because even though maybe visually it looks dry or you don't see that it has like water in the vessel, there's actually quite a bit still inside of the rock. But I just like that there's like that visual sort of indicator that you need to water, because pings really don't like going dry in my experience from, you know, growing these ones. And they're just really pretty. So if you're looking for a good substrate for your pings, akadama, I can't recommend it enough. Yeah, there's that guy. I think I did repot this on camera, but it might have been a different ping or different plant that I put in here, and then maybe I just moved these into here. But like, here's what I'm saying is like these like fun little vessels are just like, they're just so cute with the glass. Like I feel like you notice the vessels that things are in more when it's not just glass, or it's not just, you know, unique pottery like this. Another one that I thrifted recently, and I knew exactly what I was gonna put in it, oh my god, my legs are asleep, is this guy. So this is the newest carnivorous plant that I've gotten, and it was much bigger. It was probably this big when I got it. It was like a decent sized pitcher plant, but it died when I repotted it into here. It went through so much shock. You know, I just cut it back completely. There were no pictures on it. So all of these pictures that you see are brand new. Can you stop tracking my face? Yeah, these are all brand new pictures grown out in ambient. So I did notice, because I was getting a little bit lazy, I have only used filtered water for my pings. Some people have said tap water is fine, but of course everybody's tap water is different. Tap water here, specifically where I live, is actually quite good. I sometimes just drink tap water, but I started getting lazy and I started using just tap water for these pitchers, or for this pitcher, and I noticed that it was starting to go brown like this, because I wasn't having this issue at all until I started using our tap water. So I'm back to using filtered, and I don't know if this is right, but I have been pouring a little bit of water inside of the pitchers as well. Obviously it's not raining where I am, and I think that they're supposed to have a little bit of water inside of the pitchers. So that's what I've been doing, and it seems to be going well. I think those are the only carnivorous plants I want to show you. I do have 2 more in my plant room, but honestly some of them are not looking great, and I just don't think that they're camera ready right now. So yeah. Okay, so these next ones are from a plant shop locally here called Yumi Succulents. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And I discovered Yumi from a local plant show that I went to recently, and then she opened up a store in like one of those indoor mall type things. Indoor mall? aren't all malls indoors. So let me show you the one that I picked up from the show. Now, I wish I had shown this to you when I first got it. Maybe I did, but I'll just put in a picture. Here's a picture of what it looked like when I first brought it home. I feel as if a lot of these plants that I got from her, and this is no shade to her at all, but I'm feeling a little catfished because this is what it looks like now. I bought this plant specifically because I liked how like jelly bean like it looked. Like look at all of those little, oh my gosh. Look at all of those like sparkles. It looks wet, or it looks like it has like some dew on it or something. But I fell in love. It was like a little bush and just like the chunkiest little jelly beans. And I was like, this is my favorite plant in the entire world. But do you see all of this new growth on there? It's not fat and jelly bean like. It doesn't look anything like the plant. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I really don't. It's like, maybe it's a light thing. I don't know. I don't know how to get them like fatter. But this is not really what I had in mind, and it just looks kind of ridiculous now, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research because it's looking a little bit like this other plant that I got from her, which I believe has also catfished me. I think that these are meant to be pruned back a lot because hopefully I have a picture of it when I first got it. Again, it was like a tiny little miniature tree, and it looked very much like doesn't this look the same? Like the new growth, they look like they could be almost the same plant. But this one did not look like this. All of this was not on the plant. This is all new growth. It doesn't look the way I thought it was gonna look. I do think that maybe this is a plant that you have to like almost bonsai, so I should be like regularly trimming back so that it does grow like nice and compact and bushy. But I just feel bad, like there's so much growth on it. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna grow this as a trailing plant. I'm not gonna try and make it look like a tree. I'm gonna let it just like live its best life, and it can do whatever it wants. But like, isn't this one so fun too? It does have that sort of dewy texture as well. Like it looks wet, and I don't know. I adore these plants. Both of these plants, despite it not growing the way that I thought it was gonna grow, I just think they're so fun. They're so unique, so neat. And you don't really see these often. So yeah, of course, when I saw it at her stall, I had to pick it up. But will I get more of them? Probably not. Okay, so I bought a second one at the show, and it was like really red or pink, and it looked like this one, but pink. That one died. That one didn't make it, unfortunately. And honestly, I think that these plants would do great with no drainage holes. She potted these. Well, actually, I potted this one, but she potted this one for me in store. It seems like she does rock, like a nice big rock at the bottom to like block the drainage hole, essentially. It drips out very, very slowly. But these are so thirsty. Like, they're very, very thirsty plants. And I feel like because the vessel is so small, it doesn't retain a lot of that water. And yeah, that's just, it is what it is. So as much as I love the, the cute little pots that they're in, I think eventually I'm gonna either opt for a larger vessel that will hold more water, or find a way to, I don't know, do some type of no drainage situation. So, but yeah, these pots are really cute. I also picked this up at that the show I went to. It was from a different seller. This one is from Yumi Succulent. So if you're local and you can go to Yumi, she has like the cutest selection of pots, cutest selection of plants. She also has aroids. Like, she has a very good selection, and I would say that the prices are very, very, they're good. They're competitive. I think that she could be charging more for these, but she doesn't. But yeah, I really appreciate like the curated succulents that are brought in, and that she offers to pot them in the store for you for free if you buy some of her pots. And overall, just like has turned into one of my favorite plant shops locally. I also got these two from her. So this was a cutting from a bigger one that my mom got, actually, and I don't know if She has a photo of it from when she first got it. I would have gotten my own, but she only had one. So I've been trying to root this thing for ages. This was cut back in August and there's still nothing, but it's alive. My mom recently sent me a picture of what hers looks like, and it's like they've opened up. It looks totally different. It looks totally different, and I'm just really hoping that I can get some roots on this because this is such a fun one too. I like that like it goes from being closed to open because I think they look really cute as little balls, but once they open up and look like little cabbage flowers, they're just so precious. I just have no idea how to root this. I have just been doing it in soil. It was like, I think it was in perlite to begin with. I kind of want to try stratum just because I have such good luck rooting things in stratum. Things grow so much faster. But I'm not sure if this is something that would do good in a prop box. I only use stratum in prop boxes because it dries out so fast. So it would have to be in a prop box. I did try and root, was it one of these ones? I think I took a cutting of this and tried to root it in stratum in a prop box and it just completely turned to mush. So I don't think that these really love high humidity. I'm scared to mess with anything, so might just keep it in here. It could just be taking a lot longer to root than normal, but so far it's not dying, which is a great sign. But if you can get your hands on one of these, they are just, they're so cute. And like, I would have taken a bigger cutting, but didn't want to be greedy. Mom's plant was so cute, so I didn't want to like mess up the nice like sculptural look that it had. And then this is the last one that I picked up from Yumi. I have been looking for this plant for so long. I saw it on Instagram and just thought it was the funniest thing ever. They look like tiny little lips. No eyes, just lips. And I'm like fully obsessed with it. I don't know if it's ever gonna grow another little guy for me, but I'm just happy to have this one, honestly. Every time I see it, I just feel like he's just like this, waiting for some water, and it's just so precious. This one is also in her soil. I think that she potted this one for me because this is her pot as well. Look how cute this little pot is, like little ears. I don't think she makes these. I think she just like buys them and resells them. But either way, her curated collection is very cute. But I did top all of these with akadama just to kind of keep the soil in because she pots them very high. She pots them like right up to the top of the pot. And so when you water it, like with peat moss, it floats a little bit, right? Because it's so light. And so it kind of like spills over. So I just use akadama to hold things down. But yeah, that is all of the plants from her. And then I do want to show you at least one that I picked up from Crystal Star Nursery. I think I'm going to show you this one. I love this one so much. This one is a sarcaulon vanderietiae. Probably not saying that right. But like, look, it's a little tree and it's actually grown so much. I think this whole top part is new. I think it only had like this little guy when she sent it to me. It did drop a few leaves after I repotted it, but you know, bounced right back and just gave me so much growth. This pot is also from Crystal Star Nursery and potted in soil and topped with akadama. I will say one thing about this plant is that it loves water. If I let this dry out once, it just dries out all these leaves. Like, you'll just see like a graveyard of leaves if you let it dry out even once. So this is another one that I would maybe eventually like to grow in. This one has a drainage hole. I'd probably opt for something with no drainage and maybe do even something like pon with what are you? Akadama. But you know, not gonna touch it for a long time. I feel like keeping it in this small little pot for a while is gonna make it grow really like compact. But again, it's been hard to kind of keep up the it's been hard to keep up the water in here because I'm watering this one twice a week. Let me show you the setup that I have, because I used to just take all of these to the sink, and I was like, you know, I can't keep doing this twice a week because, you know, all of these are pretty thirsty. So what I've done is I've used this long vessel that I just thrifted, and I keep them all in here, and I just do this so that I can water it where it is over there, and then everything just drains into here. So and then it also acts as like something to elevate it in the back since there's plants in front of it. But this has been way easier than taking it to the sink. But yeah, very, very thirsty plants. If you do pick one up and you are familiar with growing in no drainage, I would probably opt for that. If not, use a soil mix that's a little bit more dense and use amendments that retain water. Otherwise, you are going to be watering minimum twice a week. I think I actually got this one from Yumi Succulents as well. This one is a very, very succulent looking plant, succulent-like looking plant, like that you see at, you know, grocery stores or whatever. But the difference is this one is like miniature. Like, look at how tiny each of the leaves are. They're like little flower clusters. They're so cute. It was funny because a little piece of it broke off when I had brought it home, like the tiniest little piece. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this to my mom. I put it in a vest, like a little container. She's like looking at it. She's like, what am I looking at? I'm like, it's a succulent. And she was like, where is it? And I was like, it's right there. See that little speck right there? And I like used my pinky to show her. She's like, oh, thanks. And I was like, but look, this is what it's gonna turn into. And she was like, oh, it's so cute. But she's like, you couldn't spare a bigger piece, you selfish, greedy. It's because I've never propagated this before. Obviously, if it's easy to propagate, I'd give her like half of this baby, but I do think it's a very cute shape right now and I don't really want to touch it. I don't think that this vessel is quite right for it. I feel like it needs something that's like shallow, but the only thing is the root system is actually quite long and it's attached to this sort of like barky, husky stem or like trunk, almost like a trunk. So I did have to use something a little bit deeper, but I do think probably I could chop off a little bit if I can spare some roots. But yeah, this one's really, really fun and cute. Not like a typical plant that I would gravitate toward, but I do think it's been fun to watch grow, and yeah, it's a nice sort of complement to the non-aroid collection. Another one that I got from, so okay, this one is from Yumi Succulents. This one I think is, no, not from Crystal Star. I got this one locally. Don't remember the name, but we'll try and throw it in if I can find it or remember it. I used to have the Dicaria, not the Madagascariensis, Dicaria, something else. And that, oh, I almost said proclamidia. No, I'm not gonna try. So me and Jane both had that plant, and she was saying how I had a really, really tiny one that died. Hers is huge, and she showed me her mother, like the big plant, and it's like a tree, but it doesn't grow very compact. It's like trunk and then leaves and then trunk and then leaves. So it's very sort of sparse and gangly, whereas this one's a little bit more compact. So we found a seller locally that had them. We both snagged some. We both snagged one. I think she said hers either died or it's like a stump right now, but mine has been growing pretty okay. It was really tiny when I first got it. It was just this little piece down here with one little thing of leaves. And so all of this I've grown, and it was growing in a prop box for a long time, probably like 6 months I had it in there, and it was growing really well. But I was like, okay, I didn't buy this plant to grow inside of a prop box. So I took it out and it's been fine. I didn't even do any like transition. I wasn't like doing a semi-open cloche. I wasn't spritzing it. I literally just cold turkey took it out and I was like, now you are going to be in the big boy world. And it's done fine, honestly. It's definitely slowed down on growth since the summer. I really haven't seen any new growth, but it also hasn't died. So I'm gonna take that as a win. And yeah, it's just really fun. It's really cute. I actually made this pot. It's not, I'm not good at throwing clay, okay? I'm gonna say that. It's so much harder than it looks. you know, you watch those people on the wheels and they do their thing, and it just looks so easy when they're like, you know, shaping and bringing it up. I couldn't even like bring the thing up. They had to help me, and my Jing's sponge went flying and my clay went flying. Like, it was a literal hot mess. Alice and Jing took me for my birthday. It was a fun experience, but I don't think it's for me. I think I would much prefer to do something with like air dried clay where I can actually just sculpt it with my hands. Yeah, I'm not good at it. So there's a fun fact for you. So this one, I wouldn't say is a favorite, but I wanted to show it because it's like so goofy and funny right now. This is my penis cactus. It was just this guy, this lonely little penis before, and then it grew this guy, which I chopped the top off for my dad, and then it grew this little one, and then it grew this big one. I don't know why this one's so long. That's what she said, but I don't know why it's so long, honestly. I thought that they just grow these little tiny things, right? And because all of the ones that my friends have grown, they're just kind of like this, like little tiny ones kind of like stacked on top of each other. I don't know what happened here. Maybe he got a lot of nutrients, but was very surprised when it didn't stop growing. It just kept getting taller and taller. And I was like, okay, that's enough slices. But here's two new growths down here. They are touching tips almost. I don't know how this is gonna work because they're growing squished up against each other, but I'm gonna just let it figure itself out. Nature always finds a way. I'm not gonna interfere. I'm gonna let it do its own thing. But yeah, lots of new growth on this. I am going to chop big boy off. I might actually cut like down here. I'm going to send a piece to my friend on the East Coast. Yeah, I can definitely spare some because she's tall. She's a tall one. I promise you I'm going to show this plant any opportunity I get because this was my 2025 plant push, and that is the columnea arguta AF. I think it's an AF. I don't know if it's an AF. Could just be columnea arguta. But are you not gagged? Like, just absolutely gagged. I rarely ever have the right words to describe the love that I have for this plant. I have never propagated this and repotted it. It started as like one or two, I think maybe two small strands, because he was able to fit it in this little container for me. Jonathan, I got this from Floriculture Tropical Nursery. He says that he has a very long waiting list from people that have come to him from my channel looking for one. So if you are waiting to get one, message them or message him. Tell him you want to get on the columnea arguta waitlist. There's quite a few people on the waitlist right now, but he says that he is actively like propagating as many as he can. So slowly kind of getting through it. But yeah, like, it's just magical, wonderful, beautiful. Just look at the sheen on it. Look at the color, the drape, the movement. She has it all. She's the it girl. You cannot tell me she's not the it girl. I don't care if you only like anthurium or you only like whatever. You have to get this plant. I'm just telling you, you just have to do it. Just please do it. It grows so fast once it gets going. Mine's just growing right now in it's a mix from Crystal Star. I think this is the Mineral Magic. It might be Mineral Magic, like the larger grade Mineral Magic. I can see back here, we've got some shedding because this one's like not getting any light. I'm gonna have to sweep. Like a little bit of baldness at the top, but it's making up for it with all of the new growth coming in. Like, look at her, she's popping off, and like, it's just gotten so long. I just can't, like, I do think that this is probably my favorite trailing plant of all time, of any trailing plant that I've ever had, more than the Micans, more than any Ripsalis. This is my holy grail. This is my Roman Empire. She is everything and more to me. So if I can influence you to get any plant, please let it be this. I just want everyone to experience the joy and the magicalness that is the columnea arguta. I just feel like everybody needs an opportunity and a chance to feel this, for one, feel it in their hand, the rubbery, like, the end. I was going to show you like all of my air plants, but I'm not really sure if there would be interest in that. If there is, please let me know. Maybe I'll do like not a totally separate video, but I'll try and include it in another video. But long story short, they're all doing just fine. I've only lost one air plant, like from the last time I would have shown you my collection. I've added another one to my collection since then, and they're all doing okay. I just soak them once a week. I don't do any kind of fertilizing or anything. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I know that they have air plant food, but I just can't be bothered. So they're growing just fine without it. Hopefully we continue along that path of success, because they have been a nice little addition. I use them as kind of like accents as decorative pieces. And I don't really have a desire to add any more air plants to my collection, honestly. I feel like I'm maxed out on space out here. I really wouldn't want to put any air plants in my plant room. I feel so content with my collection, and it's just such a nice feeling. I feel like that's been like the running theme of like so many of my videos over the last couple months, but that's like the general theme of my, I guess, channel as of late, is like really curating, minimizing like the amount of plants that I have, and really just focusing on the ones that I'm loving. And it's a great place to be. I still think that I have too many, but you know, I'm not trying to like rush and get to that point where I want to be at. But by next year, hopefully we're there. And I think once I can downsize the amount of aroids that I have, I can bring home a lot more fun plants like that. And honestly, I wouldn't even mind if my whole plant room turned into like these weirdo plants, and like, you know, all of like my shelves in there like housed more trailing plants, because I feel like I have it in my heart to have more trailing plants. I just don't have the space. So we'll see what next year holds. Not making any decisions yet. Of course, still waiting for a lot of anthurium to grow out. But I am doing another restock on my friend Jing's website. I will include any details in the description of this video. I will have some of my Carla seedlings available. I think I'll maybe have 1 or 2 of my narrow pallies available, and then just a bunch of different other plants, probably mostly anthurium, because that's what I'm trying to downsize right now. But yeah, keep an eye out for that if you are wanting to do maybe one last plant haul of 2025. Anyway guys, I'm gonna go. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope I maybe introduced you to some plants that you might want to add to your collection. Hope I was able to keep you company with whatever you were doing while you were watching this. What else? I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great life. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. The smaller grade were, oh my god. And I thought that was a shark. Oh, my ponytail's too tight. Sorry, give me a second. I picked up that one. Oh, you know what? It died. It died. Okay. Start over.